Hey guys, this is George from Cox Harley-Davidson, and I'm here with my man Chuck. And we've got a couple bikes that we want to talk to you about. Chuck, what do we got here?
We have a 2018 Lowrider. Everybody knows the Lowrider is, the little brother of the Lowrider S. So this has got the 107, same suspension, different forks. It's got your regular standard forks on there. Single brakes, 6-speed transmission, mid-mount for aggressive riding. And then this guy right here.
Now, this is one of my favorites.
This is a 2019 Fat Boy with the 114 in it. It's got a 160 front tire, the 114 cubic inch motor, adjustable rear suspension. As you can see, it's right here. You can adjust it on the fly. And it also features a 240 rear tire.
A big fat meatball.
Yeah.
Now these things have been one of my favorites for a very, very long time. Terminator 2 came out and I was enthralled with the Fat Boys like most of us. Love that big fat tire. Love the looks of this bike. It's a classic, but it does handle differently than the other bikes. It's got a different quality to it, but I mean, it's not bad. It's just different. And
so, contrary to popular belief, you can't jump a Fat Boy.
no,
not like Schwarzenegger did.
No. Maybe if you were a Terminator with a cybernetic spine and you had Hollywood backing you up with spare parts. But the basic Lowrider is a really good looking bike too. It's the classic. And when you just say a Harley-Davidson cruiser, to me, this is kind of what comes to mind. It's all, it reminds me of the Dynas. It's got that same type of vibe of being just a simple bike like the Dyna was, but it is the Softail frame. We've got the Milwaukee 8 motor with that 107, which is super smooth. And honestly, it's plenty of power in a real basic Softail like this.
So in 2018, when they did the new Softail design and they brought the Lowrider over, not only did they give it a new rear suspension, but they also lightened it up about 28 to 30 pounds. So the Dyna Lowrider was significantly heavier, made it harder for shorter or not muscle-bound people to pick it up.
Right.
But now you can enjoy the same ride, or if not, a better ride, in my opinion, with less weight, more of a thrill. This isn't a bike you're going to have for like a year. You're going to keep this motorcycle or that motorcycle even for 10 years.
Or longer, or forever. Yeah, so the Softail frame, a lot of people decry the loss of the Dynas, but the Softail is a superior chassis. It's stiffer, better suspension, better lean angle, with an engine that's more efficient, cleaner, and smoother, with lots of room to improve. Because, you throw in a stage 1 kit and now you're equal to the output of a 114 stock. So a stock 114, stage 1 bumps it up. And
I would think personally, to get that oomph that the 114 has in a motorcycle like this, I would probably go to a stage 2 or stage 3 to get the output of something like this. Because stage 1, you're only doing air cleaner, exhaust, and a tune. If you do a can, or if you decide to bump up your jugs or pistons or do some head work, then you're surpassing the 114. You're making a 107 a monster that the 114 couldn't be unless you bumped it up to a stage 4 or stage 5.
And then if you want to get real crazy, you got this 114, which you can now put a 131 kit in, which is nuts, which we all want to see that happen one day. I want to see that happen. I want to ride that bike. So we've got some great bikes.
My Lowrider S.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah, bro. That would be amazing. All right. So now I've ridden them both. You've ridden them both. The ride quality, it's apples and oranges. They both, even though they're both Softails, both Milwaukee 8s, the differences between these two bikes are staggering. They feel completely different.
Absolutely.
And it's not just cosmetics. It's the handling quality. It's the way the power rolls on. These are some amazing machines. but two distinct flavors of Softail. And if I had to take a pick, I mean, they're both good. They're both good. Just jumping on the bike, running around town. I love the Lowrider for that. I would love a Lowrider S even more with the upgrades on the S's. But this bike here, it's been discontinued. You're not going to see a Lowrider, the basic Lowrider. You're not going to see a 2021 model year of that. The Fat Boy's continuing, but the Lowrider's not. So this is one of the last of the Lowriders. So talking about the loss of the Dyna, now we have, we're looking at the sunsetting of the Lowrider. And it's a shame. That's a phenomenal bike.
Great motorcycle.
All right.
Not a lot of people know this, but they used to make the Fat Boy in a 107 as well. I think that was on the prune list for 2019.
Right.
So we haven't seen a 107 Fat Boy in about a year and a half.
Which is, in my opinion, that's okay, because to me that's like a Camaro or a Mustang with a V6.
Muscle cars aren't meant to have 6 cylinders.
No, it's just not right. If you have one and you like it, that's groovy, but I mean, we're going about the spirit of what these bikes are all about.
I'm not knocking guys with super chickens. By super chicken, I mean like a Thunderbird with a supercharger in it. That was the 3.6 liter. I mean, that was a great car.
I had one.
It's a great car,
it was a great car.
It's not something I want to take a date in.
Oh, I'm feeling attacked now. Well, let's show the guys what these things sound like and what they ride like.
Now these are stock exhaust systems on these. You can always do a set of slip-ons, whether it be Hansen Heinz, Cobra, Freedom, Reinhardt, which I personally like, because they're not too loud, but they're loud enough.
Yeah.
Plus they offer a great kind of warranty through Reinhardt.
They both have a very nice mellow tone to them. The 114's definitely throatier. All right.
Let's get that West Coast angle on. A lot of guys on the West Coast park their motorcycles, cars facing one way as opposed to the other way.
Because they're all about the looks.
Exactly. I mean, when I'm doing a photo shoot with a motorcycle, I'll showcase it like that instead of the other way, because it kind of doesn't really make the motorcycle pop, which I get. But truth be told, motorcycle's supposed to be parked like this.
That's true. Now they both have the same headlight, but that bezel just gives the whole front end a whole distinct look. That's why they call it the Fat Boy. All right. Chuck's looking very comfortable on that bike. And I like the Lowrider. I like that Milwaukee 8 engine in the 107 in the Softail. It has a really good power delivery. You can see it's smooth, it's easy. It's a very easy bike. Even for a novice, it's an easy bike to ride. Transitions really lightly, going from a left curve to a right curve. And just a super well balanced machine. It's a great all-around motorcycle. Now you can put bags on it, you can put a windscreen on it, and all of a sudden now you've got a light touring bike, and you could go cross country. I've gone much farther on much less motorcycle, and on a bike like this, such a trip would be cake.
Ooh, drag it back.
You can see the lean angle with those mid controls. You don't have a whole lot. You're not gonna slam it over onto its side like a Ducati, but great machine all the way around. Chuck, give me just a couple quick riding impressions on this bike.
Believe it or not, I actually like the mid-mounts. I'm not a mid-mount person at all because I'm stocky, so I feel like my belly gets in the way of my thighs when I'm sitting mid-mounted. But surprisingly, this motorcycle right here, I felt like I had plenty of room. I was comfortable. Of course, everybody knows first thing I would change is bars, bars and exhaust. The seat, a lot of people don't like stock seats. That seat is quite comfortable the way it is. So, I mean,
coming from other brands, the whole thing about stock seats are always an issue. Harley really and truly does a great job on their seats. So this is, you know, for a stock seat, this is more comfortable than a lot of aftermarket seats on other cruisers.
Yeah, like I have a Danny Gray, and it's purely for aesthetics.
Yeah.
It's not for riding.
No, they look great though.
It looks really good because it gives it that nice sleek hand look.
Oh yeah, I've bought seats just for the look myself and then regretted it. Well, my ass regretted it.
Yeah, well, which is really funny because they actually make a seat called the butt crack.
Oh dear.
This is not a good seat.
Now this bike here, whole new vibe. Go ahead and cruise this one around a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna set the suspension for me. And you can do this by weight or riding style. It all depends on you, what feels good to you.
Yeah.
Like if you don't want any tension or preload, that's personal preference.
Yeah.
Now this one's got floorboard, so if you hear me scrape it, don't get nervous.
Notice how the 114 stepped out with a lot less effort. And there's a little scrapage. But you can see the lean angle is actually still pretty good. Now stock with those pipes from the floorboards, you don't have a lot of extra room on the lean angle on the right side. A little bit more and you'd be scraping the pipes, which is bad. You don't want to do that. Hear that 114 roar up a little bit. Now let's go into a set of 2-into-1 pipes. You could get a little bit, you know, a little bit more sound, and you can get a little bit more lean angle out of that. Understand that, you know, this is not a sport bike, it's not a Ducati. Scraping pegs and floorboards happens on cruisers. But you can see Chuck is super comfortable on this. Real easy bike to ride. You counter steer is a little bit different on a bike like this because of that big fat front tire. You have to initiate a little bit more effort into the counter steer to get the bike to roll over. But when it does, it rolls into the curves very gently and smoothly. And what I like about it is that it's very, very super stable in the curves. So we can see that this bike really has no problem getting around. No problem at all stepping up from a stop. It's just a good looking bike too. I mean, yeah.
You notice with a brand new motorcycle, that transmission is pretty tight. Finding neutral is always a pain in the butt. So when you heard me scraping the floorboard out here, I went through the Pro Rider Riding Academy. That's a step up from the MSF course. It basically teaches you police maneuvering. So the tight little turns that I did over here, and I was scraping the floorboards, I wouldn't suggest it for just anybody, especially with a heavy bike. But I wanted to see how the wider tires handled the tight turning. Surprisingly, it was quite well.
Yeah, the turn in is just a little bit more effort to get the bike to roll over into the curve.
But once it does, it just kind of wants to stay there.
Yeah, because it's super stable. I mean, I like to say it's as stable as a parked bus, because once you get that thing into the corner, it's going to stay there until you tell it to change directions again.
And if you look over here, if you look on the tire, you can see that I was using the whole tire. Like, that much you're not supposed to use, because obviously if you go over there, there's no coming back. So, like, literally from here to here on the tire was being used when I was turning. And that was the idea I was trying to get at, is how tight could I really turn this without feeling like I was going to go over. And the tighter I went and the more I twisted my body, I felt pretty good. There was only one time I got nervous, but you guys weren't going to see that.
Well, the Fat Boy is still a very maneuverable bike. It's still a soft tail frame. It's still a great all the way. I did notice that when you took off, I mean, it stepped out. It stepped out like a thoroughbred horse.
Yeah.
And
in first gear, it definitely has a little more oomph to it.
yeah, that torque, you know, that low gearing, that torque really makes these bikes, you know, surprisingly quick.
Yeah.
But just an all-around great bike. Now, both of these bikes are in our pre-owned inventory. If you want a brand new Fat Boy, we can hunt one for you. We don't have one currently in stock at the moment, but we can probably find one for you brand new. But this is a 2019, super low miles, and
like 965 miles.
yeah, so under 1,000 miles.
But it's already had its 1,000 mile service, which is the most important.
We've already done that service, so this bike is ready to go, and you know, we won't even need to see until the next oil change. So this bike is a phenomenal buy compared to a brand new machine. You're going to save some money on it. We've got it listed at $19,995 for a 2019. So somebody else paid your new bike depreciation. And then over here on the Lowrider, now this one's a 2018. It's a little bit older, and it's got
201 miles.
201 miles when it came in. I think we've put a couple more on it. Let's see. 202. We've put 202. We put 1 mile on it. So 202 miles, but this is priced under 14. So we got it at $13,795. This is a great bike. Really a great deal. If you're looking for a lowrider, this is right here. This is the buy. The belt looks brand new. The tires still look brand new. Well, they are brand new. They are brand new.
It was not even broken in yet.
No, not even close. So either one of these bikes, if you're interested in either one of these bikes, or if you want to test ride one of these bikes, talk to Chuck. We got a helmet you can borrow. If you got your motorcycle endorsement, Chuck will make the time for you, take you out, and you can ride them both. We won't charge you for the gas. And this way you'll be able to decide which bike you want the 2 scoops of, because we give away the free samples. And we'll see you at Cox Harley-Davidson in Rock Hill. Peace out.